The Lionsgate portal in 2024 is significant because the Sun's transit in Leo resonates with the star Sirius, creating a really powerful change within all of us. Spiritual change, self-development, self-improvement, growth. It's quite a magical time, the 8th of the 8th. The 8th card in tarot is the Magician. And in numerology, 8 is significant because it's a very powerfully sort of magical, um, enhanced number for change. It stands for great change. And so all of these things combined are quite telling, I think. And in palmistry, the month of August is seen just on this phalange will likely reveal some clues as to how we are being affected by change, both internally and externally. So I want to kind of relay here, how astrology, numerology, and palmistry are all tied in together and how this might affect you. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a couple of different areas of the palms to look out for change because the lines on our hands change all the time. So I want you to pay close attention towards those things in terms of self-development and growth and self-improvement, materiality, investing and cultivating. So I'm not talking about just, money and finances. I'm talking about what's within as well. This area of the hand relates the second phalange of Saturn, also relates to arithmetics, to mathematics as well. So certainly it has some bearing on how we utilize our finances and how we're kind of focusing and the decisions we're making around the future, investing and cultivating materiality. But then it's also on the left hand in particular, we're looking at more within and how this relates to the inner kind of wisdom, inner growth and spirituality, spiritual awareness. So I want you to think about how much you've changed. How has the Lionsgate portal affected you recently? Have you been feeling that you've been some sort of inner awakening, some sort of self-development, intuitive development? Perhaps you've been feeling that your personality, you've been coming out of your shell, you've been trying out new clothes, you've been having a bit of a reawakening of who you are, your own identity. I want you to think about how you feel you've changed and how this relates to what I'm about to show you. By the way, this I think is more relevant to those of us who are Leos. You might have guessed I'm a Pisces. So how about it? Do you feel that you've grown a great sense of wisdom? Do you feel that you've grown spiritually? Have you been learning a great amount of in metaphysical and esoteric sciences recently? If so, you might well have developed a vertical line on this phalange or phalanx, as it's sometimes referred to. And this really shows this kind of inner development, this inner growth. Perhaps you've been looking at your hands recently and you've noticed this line. Perhaps you're looking at your hands right now and you've only just noticed this line. It's quite a rare sign, and it certainly shows the capacity for revelations and growth, uh, real inner wisdom, real um, awareness, growth of awareness, potential for growth within. If, however, the line stretches outside of these borders, it's not a good sign because it's showing this insight is lacking balance and judgment, and it's overflowing into the first and the third phalanges, and it has an effect on those around you. If that's the case, I want you to be aware of how your newfound um, identity, your newfound insights, inner growth, your spiritual revelations is affecting others. Just be careful not to repeat the same mistakes. Whilst it's important not to be aware of how you're affecting others, at the same time, it's important not to isolate yourself as well. there's a real need to find that balance again and to ground yourself. So be wary that you don't have a vertical line that does this. And now, as I say, these lines can and do change all the time. So provided if you have this line and you manage to gain a semblance of balance again, it will shrink. Now, perhaps you've been feeling highly aware in terms of psychology and you've been studying and you've really kind of broken ground in terms of breaking through with your academic successes in understanding the human psyche. If so, perhaps you have developed a bit of a triangle on the second phalanx of Saturn. If that's the case, you certainly developed true and deep understanding of human nature, and even potentially the more than that, I think it's anthropological. You likely have the ability to perceive the possibilities of future countries' destinies. Not future countries, but just far off countries. You likely have developed your sense of awareness to a point where you're really enabling that ability to see ahead. And it's a real sign of seership, master of the occult, of occult sciences. You potentially have made broken ground within your intuitive abilities to a point where you're now really able to harness that ability, and it's likely due to this great surge of spiritual development that the Lions Gate portal is allowing for. It's almost like it's a conduit for what's already there, and what makes us shine, the sun in our life, Apollo. Look out for that as well. I want you to look out for, in particular, the Sun Mount, any changes on the Sun Mount, the Apollo Mount, because Leo in Sun's transit, what makes us talented, our abilities, our personalities, and what we desire and what we love in life, what makes things possible. And this is why it's all about self-development and growth, because it's unlocking what's within. And it's great change, it's great spiritual change, a very magical time. So we might be feeling extremely emotional at the moment. I mean, it really affects all of us very differently. For me, it's much more sort of practical and material, and it's more sort of organizational, and it's about business and it's about relationship being Pisces. But for Leo, it's so much more about identity and coming out of your shell and trying out new ways to understand yourself in the world, in the outside world, to try on new skins, to really come out of your shell. Now, coming back to those three key things: cultivating, materializing, and investing. If you have a circle on the second phalanx, I highly doubt it because it's extremely rare, then it really it's a lot like the triangle. The triangle is always a sign of hard work and study. You don't come across the fortune that the triangle brings without that hard work, without that academic work. But the circle is it's a very different sign, an extremely rare sign to see in palmistry altogether. And the circle shows a very similar sign to the triangle, only it's it's extremely fortunate and it's sort of sprung upon you. It's almost a revelation that is brought on by a predetermined event. Again, it shows success in the field of occult, but it shows seership that allows to see not just ahead, but to pick up on everything, to sense the past and the future. And it shows a real ability that far exceeds any others in terms of seership, which is really why I highly doubt that anyone really here has it. But if you do, please let me know in the comments. So in particular, look out for the changes on the Sun mount, or Apollo mount, as it's sometimes referred to. Venus as well. This is our personality, and it's our charisma. It's our identity. It's how we show ourselves off in conjunction with Apollo, with the Sun mount. Make sure you check that sun line as well. There may well have been changes to how this sun line has developed for you. And also take note of your development, how you're feeling, and what you've been doing right up until the 13th of August. 13 is in numerology a number for change. It's the death. It's rebirth. So for many of us, it might well be the sense of identity that really comes into fruition on the 13th. And if you keep a diary, it'd be really interesting to see how you've been feeling and what you've been doing from the 8th right up to the 13th of August. The overarching number theme of this time, the Lion's Gate portal, is great change. The magician can both elude us, can trick us, but also captivate us in a way that's hugely inspiring and can be extremely entertaining, but also thought-provoking. And it's really about transformation, transitioning, because in order to create a magic spell, that isn't that what it's about after all? It's about transformation. It's chemistry. It's a reaction in some way. It's quite literally life changing. So what's happening for you at the moment? And have you noticed any changes in your palms? Remember, in palmistry, horizontal lines are blockages, they're obstacles, they are things that can get in the way, they are bumps in the road a lot of the time, depending on where the energies are flowing in the palm, because a horizontal line is not always a negative sign. A marriage line is horizontal, and the energies flow in that direction. So you have to work with where the energies are flowing in the hands. But if, for example, you've noticed a horizontal line at the end of August, then perhaps there is some sort of obstacle in terms of investing, materializing, and cultivating. So think about that, and also assess whether it's the left or the right hand. The left hand shows us what's internal. Perhaps you have some sort of blockage in terms of that self-development if it's on the left hand. Perhaps it's something a bit more practical and quite literally material if it's on the right hand, and that will likely be the case, particularly at this time. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'd really love to know what your thoughts are in the comments. I just thought I'd make a bit of a kind of one-off, um, very current video in terms of combining those three sciences, which are often, they do go hand in hand, and I don't talk about it all that often, so I just wanted to make a little video on the topic. So let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you would like to be mentored by me, if you like fortnightly sessions learning about palmistry, assignments, and if you'd like to kind of interact with me and a growing, emerging palmist community, please sign up for my level 2 membership. It's £5 a month, and you will have fortnightly lessons with me. Thanks for watching.